Now, you all, right now, do you guys have, what software do you use right now to kind of track sales? Are you using netFORUM at all, or do you have another third-party system that you're using?
For these groups, no. Brian can speak up if they use something, but we're not using the current sales module, mostly because nobody's really figured out how to use it. We have some of our other groups that are, one group's going to Salesforce. A couple of groups use Infusionsoft, which is more of an email tool, but I think they're going to try to use some of it for the sales, potentially.
Okay.
So we'd really just like
so
to.
the kind of the lay of the land is that, you know, we're I wouldn't stack the sales module and netFORUM up with the Salesforce in terms of, you know, analytics and you know, automated features and things like that. But I think what this does offer, what netFORUM offers that even Salesforce doesn't, is that close connection between the member data and the sales opportunity. And so that's kind of one of the benefits. That's why people really like this module in one sense, is that you know, if you're calling someone about let's say a sponsorship in the upcoming meeting, you can see real quick maybe that they've maybe they just canceled their registration for the meeting, and so that little bit of information is kind of a crucial thing before the call. You don't have to go into another system to see that. You can kind of see if they just made a big, you know, donation to the foundation, and now, you know, that might temper how you approach them about an exhibit booth or something like that, because you've got that information right there. And so that's part of the advantage of using this module, is that it's all really integrated with your member data.
Hey, quick question for you to start.
Sure.
At the Abella conference last year, or this past year, they were talking about some enhancements to the sales module, where I thought that somebody told me they were going to incorporate a lot of the features from Salesforce into some of the enhancements. Have you heard anything about that?
I don't know specifically about the roadmap features. Do you remember specifically what it was, or was it more like a general, like, hey, we're going to add a bunch of new things, or was it, or are you asking about a specific
No,
feature?
it was very general.
Okay. I don't know the status of this. Maybe what I can do is, and that was going to be a part of the 2014 release as well?
No, I'm thinking that it was going to be like 15 or 16 when they were talking about it. It was like something down the road, but I just was curious if that was going to happen, if that was still the plan, and what version it was going to come out on.
Okay, yeah, all right. That makes me feel a little better that I don't know about it. But yeah, I have to get back to you about to see if that's still on target. I mean, usually they're pretty good about hitting hitting the roadmap markers when it's this close. But you know, sometimes things do drop off the roadmap. I'd have to check about those things specifically.
Could you check, or should I ask Angie? I just, you know, if there's some features in Salesforce that, you know, we don't get with this module, if we know it's going to be coming soon down the road, you know, it would be a good thing for our associations to know, for them to start using the sales module.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You know, Angie would actually be a good resource for that, I think, because she deals with upgrades and we're really up close and things. She would probably have some good insight into that. So, yeah, maybe that would be a good Angie question.
Okay, I will ask her.
All right, should I jump into this?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Just to kind of give you the lay of the land here, the sales module just from the overview page. Of course, it is a complete module, although it is integrated really with a lot of the baseline features that are in CRM. For example, what we call accounts. That's really kind of a salesy term for the organizations, the customers that are going to purchase things. And so you'll kind of see this idea that we've incorporated it with, if you click on accounts or use the link here to the left, you can even see it here in the expanded link, that it's really just talking about an organization. And so the baseline find organization screen and the baseline forms that we use for organizations, we're really just incorporating those into the module, knowing that those are the groups that you're going to sell to. Sometimes it's a member organization, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's a partner or something like that, but either way, those can be stored as organizations. It's really the same idea with contacts, in that that's more of a sales term for it, and so we've kind of repurposed the contacts. In other words, those individuals that work for those organizations, but now we've just kind of created a link into that view here in the sales module. There's one other piece that we've really kind of pulled in to be specifically used for this, and that is assignments. So we've always been able to have assignments that have due dates and follow-ups and things like that, and so it really made sense not to re-engineer that, but to simply use that here in this module. And so if you've used assignments before in netFORUM, then this will look very familiar to you, but here they're specifically applying to the sales process and sales opportunities. The things that are unique about this module that don't exist in other places are the sales opportunity itself, and then also things like territories. The kind of the core of this module is really the sales opportunity, and so that's of course a new piece that doesn't exist anywhere else. But you can see it from child forms that exist on the account record. So from an organization, these can be displayed on those child forms. But here, basically, you're connecting the sales rep with an opportunity name, and then the expected amount, and then a stage that opportunity is in. So one other way that I kind of like to look at this whole process. Oh, and one other thing before I get to that is that, of course, just like within every module, there is a setup screen that helps you populate the drop-down lists with common things that make sense for your organization. Sure enough, that's the case here with sales as well. And so there is actually that's it. There are some setup screen here. Actually, get to it that way. But this is where you can define what those stages are. So what are here we have a 7-stage sales process from interest to signed. Well, if that doesn't really make sense for you guys, if you want to expand that or maybe make it a little more simple and with 3 stages, that's fine too. You can set those up here. Different other drop-down lists like opportunity type and so forth can be made. But the main screen that I like to interact with this module on is this guy right here. It says My Sales Profile. And again, we can get to that from the sales module under Overview, My Sales Profile. And what that does is it gives the sales representative essentially a view into all those pieces that I was talking about. So here I kind of get a little dashboard for myself where I can see open assignments. So everything that relates to a sales opportunity but has a follow-up assignment. I can see that here. I can see the status of that. I can see the due date. And if I want further information, I just drill into it. Then the opportunities themselves, I can see that. If you are using netFORUM to also then track commission, which can be done, that would display here. Here I'm just kind of tracking the opportunities separately from commission. So that's just a nice little dashboard there. But let's go to a an opportunity record then, and let's say I've got a new opportunity that I'm opening up for an organization. Again, if we can assume that the account is already a record in the database, that's fine. We would simply look them up right here. If not, we'd have to add them as a new account, or in CRM as a new organization.
So could you do an individual or an organization there?
Yeah, yes, good point. That's a good point. You'll notice it does say account or contact, so it's just using the customer link, which could be a customer, could be an individual or an organization. So yeah, if the individuals are going to, so let me. I think okay, so you can see here it helps you out because it actually gives you the customer type in the drop-down. So if I type Kirk, am I linking to the Kirk company, which is an organization, or am I linking to Myrtle Kirk here, the individual? And so I can connect to either one of those. Do you guys have quite a few opportunities specifically with individuals? Is that like around like major gifts and things, or what does that relate to?
Well, one of the women in media, I'm not sure if they're going to do individuals or orgs or both, so I just wanted to kind of clear that up. They could potentially be having conversations and contacts with individuals, not just companies.
Okay, yes, and that can be done. In fact, let's connect to an individual here just to kind of show you this. So the opportunity name, this would just be a descriptor that you would define what this opportunity is about. Let's say, it's a major gift that you're asking them about. And then a lot of these identifiers are just things that you can either decide to use or to kind of make your own in terms of what that organization needs. So the type here, we've designated this to be, well, is it new business? Is it repeat? Or are they a brand new prospect? You know, so you can kind of define this however you like. Let's say that it's a new opportunity. They haven't done business with us before. The source, again, this is just a record that you can, our vendor, maybe we purchased this name from a list, and so we've got that now. The opportunity amount, of course, this value can change as the sales process goes on, and we can put an initial value in here about what we think this might be. So maybe we think that Myrtle here can donate $10,000. And so we'll put that in there, but of course that, maybe that's adjusted either up or down as the sales process continues, and that's fine as a history within each opportunity that we'll be able to see as we interact with this opportunity. The quantity field, that kind of defaults to 1, and really it's, with a gift, I suppose that would stay that way. We really added that in when it applies to obviously things that have a quantity. So we might, it might be $10,000, but that might be spread over 3 different sponsorships of our 3 major meetings throughout the year. And so that's just a way to kind of know that this value isn't just one purchase per se. It could be a quantity of 3 based on the product type that they're buying. The details just allow that salesperson to add more details in here. Of course, there's notes and other ways to track this throughout the system, but here just gives them a way to, one of many areas where they can add in the detail for that opportunity. The product type, this it helps out with reporting later, so we can break down opportunity reporting on a couple different things, of course, on the types and the source and sales rep and amounts and so forth. But then you might want to see, well, what do we have in the pipeline for sponsorships, or what do we have in the pipeline for fundraising or things like that. So tracking this value properly allows you to do reporting that that otherwise would not have been able. And you can even get down to specifically the product within that. So once you choose the product type, you can say, well, which product? Maybe it's the general fund or the, so some appeal that you're relating to. But that's not a required field. And then when you first fill out the opportunity, then it may fall into one of these stages. And so perhaps you're just getting started, and so you're just maybe they've shown interest, and so you're going to follow up with them. And so the current stage is that. So that's great. As you go through the process, then depending on how you set up your stages, you would then just kind of adjust that as needed. Let's say we've submitted a proposal here. Actually, let's say we've qualified them as a valid lead, and we're going to say it seems to be that by the end of the month we should get this major gift. And so I'm going to enter an expected close date of October 31st. And you can even add a next step in here. Of course, really it's the next one that applies to the current stage. But here now, the next thing to do is to really submit a proposal to them in my little process here, and then to have them review that. So let's start with this. I'm going to save this record, and then we can always adjust as more things are done. Okay. So I see that as one of my opportunities now on the job form here in my sales profile view. I could add new assignments that pertain to that, or maybe overall assignments that I have to do and follow-up work that I have to do. You can see here that I have several here. I need to call Susan, need to get proposal to Dinsmore. So all of these are really, like I said before, just using that assignment feature that's already in the system.
Can you relate an assignment to an opportunity?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, let's do that now. So if I go, if I'm pursuing this major gift with Myrtle here, so I'll use the Go To button, and it'll take me to the opportunity profile. And you can see here that there's an Add Assignment and Add Notes button right away. That in this case, they're particularly applying to this opportunity. So let's do that here. So if I add an assignment, let's see. And actually, I was expecting that to default. I wonder why that's not default. I suppose you could. Maybe as a connection with this opportunity, it might be the case that you follow up with a different contact. I don't know. I try to decide if they left that to not default on purpose. But at any rate, here you're going to look up the main contact, and then of course, assuming that you're the person who's going to take that action, then you would just leave that there. Rules. Are you familiar with the assignment feature? Do you guys use that in other parts of the system?
No.
Okay.
Only because it doesn't email a reminder. Or at least it used to not.
Oh.
I don't know if it does now. They wanted a reminder email.
Well, there is a reminder that should set that out.
And as I said, I haven't tried it in a while, so maybe it's available in this new build. We probably haven't tried it since like 2009 version.
Okay. Yeah, there is, I believe there is some setup. You'd have to determine the template for the reminder. So the netFORUM would need to know what to send. So there is a little bit of setup in some system options. But assuming that that's done correctly, then that should send that out.
Okay, we'll look back at it then.
Yeah, so let's say I want a reminder on Friday. The due date is actually next Wednesday. Oh, and here's if I want to override the base template, then I can choose a specific template that I'm going to get. I'm just adding in some detail here. I can connect it to different, what we call activity types within the system. So it's just a way, again, to kind of manage the reporting of it, to know what types of activities are going on out there from a high level. This one I'm going to call fundraising. I suppose I could call it sales as well. But different ways you can determine how you kind of want to train your staff to decide what activities would be best. We'll say high priority and save that. Second. Okay, so I see the assignment here within my my profile. I think you were asking if it you know, it looks like connect. I was hoping that would connect into the opportunity. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay, so it looks like that assignment, that way to do that particularly is kind of above the opportunity.
Why would it have a child form though?
Yeah, exactly. There might be, maybe I needed to, you know what, I bet I clicked on the wrong button. I bet if you want to do one that's not associated, do it up there. Let me see this. Okay, that's what it is. So there's a field that connects those two objects together, the opportunity and the assignment. And if you want to then default them to be connected, then we have to use that button. What you might want to do then, if it kind of makes sense that that's the typical process that you're typically connecting, which I would think. You know, if you're on the profile page, that you're entering an opportunity that relates to that, you know, entering an assignment that relates to that opportunity, then in that case, it probably makes sense to redirect this button to actually act like this one. At any rate, that can be added. Notes. Let's see. Let me do this too, and kind of okay. So there we're connecting that note to the opportunity, and I could add multiple notes. That's very useful because it's separate than just that line up here that's on the opportunity itself, the details. This gives you a chance to just kind of continually add more and more as needed. Now, what I'm curious about then is what we found with the assignment. Is this a generic note? No. Okay. So that one does work that way. That when you use that button up here, it is defaulting to that opportunity. Right. So as you build out, you know, as you work with this prospect, then you just kind of continue to build this out with assignments and nodes. At some point, you're going to maybe adjust that opportunity amount, move the stages. So let's say that we've contacted them now, and we're going to move to the proposal stage. Let's even skip forward until we've done that, and now they're evaluating. Notice what happens here with the close probability and expected revenue. So this is a part of the setup, is that within each stage, you define a percentage of close probability. So based on your experience, you say, hey, if there are the folks who are evaluating the proposal, we tend to get about 50% of those sales. So you connect that with that. And then expected revenue for the reporting then will adjust whatever you've added to average opportunity amount and give you 50% of that. So that's again a part of the setup that you'll do. If I move back to proposal, I think that that was set up to like 30%. So in that case, we would see on our pipeline reports that at the end of the month, at this point, we're only expecting 3,000. As you progress through the stages, whatever those are for your organization, you're going to get a history of that on the history tab. So here, I can see that, and this is all on the same date, but I can see that on a certain date, it was then moved to, from one stage to another stage. I can also see the history of that, the amount. So if I did adjust the amounts, maybe it looks like they're going to get more or less, then we would see the history of that as well here. Okay.
Do the all notes, does that pull also from that, in like you're connected to Myrtle's, so does it pull her notes from her individual record, her customer record? I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, good. Right, yes, that's exactly what it does. And so these are the nodes that specifically are connected to this opportunity. Now they're also connected to Myrtle, but all nodes would be really in anything that's connected there. So again, that's the advantage of kind of getting, being in the same system as your membership data and as other employees who are interacting with this contact, is that now you can kind of see, oh wait, hey, somebody just talked to her yesterday, and so here's what they said. You can get a good view about what's going on. All right. So that's the opportunity side, and maybe the in fact, let's go ahead and go to the main CRM record, and there is a way to kind of see what's going on from there too. Let's see, we've put several of these things in. So that's the one I'm looking for here. Let's see. That's actually a different one. There it is. Okay, so the sales tab there, now right from her CRM record, and keep in mind if you don't want to show anyone who has access to the CRM record what's going on in sales, then we can keep that hidden for certain user groups, so security groups. But there we can see that there's an assignment that's based on the sales. There's been confirmation there. There is a sales opportunity that's associated with them, and really all sales opportunities that are associated with this contact would come up there as well. From the reporting side, okay, so that's kind of the granular level. We've got one opportunity with one customer. To look at it from an overall standpoint, to see what's going on, maybe from a manager type level and pipeline reports and so forth. We do have some of those. And again, this is where it's Salesforce has a lot of different metrics and analytics that would kind of apply to that. We've got a few, and we've got kind of the basics here. But let me show you an example of what some of those are. So we break them down into types. So there's the commission type reports, which I haven't really talked about in terms of applying commission to a sale. And let me actually stop there. One of the functions of this module would be to then, if that gift comes in, it could be associated with that opportunity, which is associated to me as a sales rep. And you can define different percentages of commission. It's really just a reporting function where you can see how much commission should be given to a particular sales rep. Is that a piece you think you would use, or
I think some of our associations do commissions. I'm not sure if I don't think Brian, ICF, I'm not sure if they do or not. I know the people that are on this call right now don't, but some of our other groups do.
Okay. It's there if need be, report set up, but just to define what those percentages are. But let's, while we're here looking at the reports, let me jump down to what we call the opportunity reports, and we can see a couple different ones. Here's closed opportunities by salesperson. I'm just going to run the sample here. So in this case, I would look for the particular salespeople and closed, there would be a date range here that I would enter in. So between these two dates, it breaks down by salesperson what all the closed deals are, and then gives you a sales total. There's this is a dashboard report that can be added. It's really just a little chart. In this case, it's closed opportunity by salesperson in just a little different, a bar graph there. And then we get into some of the pipeline reports. So this would be useful for a particular month. We want to look ahead to see what's coming down the pipe, and so we can see. In this case, it's again a date range, so it's going to be you can run it for more than a month, but here we can see that this was run for October and November. We can see all the opportunities here, and the salesperson, their forecasted sale, which means the total amount that we sell on the opportunity, but based on the stage, then it's going to give it a certain probability of close, which then brings in that expected revenue number, which then totals it up for the month, so we can know how much expected revenue we have on that particular month, and then an overall total as well. And then just the rest of these reports are really just different ways to kind of look at that pipeline. You can look at it by product type. So I skipped this one, month and stage, so you can kind of see particularly which stage they're in. It breaks it down by stage. There's one specifically for a salesperson where I can, the parameter here, if I click go, is the user. In other words, the sales rep. Do I want to see this for a particular stage or all stages? And I can break it down that way. So that's kind of from a high level how you can see what's going on in coming in any given month.
Did Angie send you our list? We had a few questions. Did she send that to you?
No, I did not get that. Let me know if I can.
Let me see if I can forward it to you. What's your email? What's your email address?
It's Matthew, MATTHEW .Rohrer, ROHRER @abila.com.
And then I had one more question too. So. Did that come through?
Yes, it did.
And I think a couple of them are more CRM type questions, but we can just go through them real quick.
Okay. Okay, so is it possible to track sales contact at a particular company and only have one or two pieces of contact information?
Meaning they have a list of individuals, but don't necessarily have their address information. And I know when we add an individual, I think address is required. That's something can we change?
Right.
Can we change the
Yes.
the form add individual form to not require address?
Yes, that is possible. In fact, I think we have, I think we've been goofing around with this site. Might even have an example here, but it's something that can be done with a toolkit. And what I've seen, excuse me, what I've seen done here. So that this is probably the form you're used to seeing. And first name and last name are the two required fields really within personal information. But the way this form is designed is to also really require that address. So what can be done is, okay, thanks Brian, take care, is that this, you can actually take out the fields, then what I would suggest is to make a copy of this form, first of all. Make a copy of the form, call it, sales, quick add, remove those fields, and then have that as a link here on the side. Now, I'm going to click on one of these. I actually don't know. I forget off the top of my head what they do, but these are custom ones that we've built just for demonstration purposes. If I go and see what that one. Oh, that one looks very similar. Try this one. Nope, both of those look very similar. Okay. Suffice to say, though, that each one of these is a separate link now that can be added. It's very similar to what we do on the web, and I don't know how much your different organizations use the eWebsite, but within eWeb, there's a streamlined version of this where it only asks for certain fields. So,
okay.
I mean, the quick answer is yes, but it does take a little bit of development from a toolkit perspective.
Okay, we have developers that have taken your training, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Excellent. Okay, the next one. Is there a way to tag a person as sales contact and not necessarily someone who is going to be a prospective member? Yes, absolutely. So, and there, it sounds like here we're talking about an individual. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. So I was thinking like relationship roles or individual type if they're not connected to an org.
That's exactly where I was going with that. So yeah, and so if let's see one here. So from the individual record, you could do it two ways. You could, as you suggested, you could use what we call individual type and have something here that maybe is prospect. I think one there, but sales prospect or sales contact, and that would kind of stay with them there. But then also you could have that role if they have an organization, and I don't know, you have to kind of weigh this out, because if you use the role, then they'd have to have an organization record, which is probably a good idea. But assuming that they do have an organization, then you can set up that relationship type as sales contact. Okay. Is there a place to track conversations? So from the opportunity there, you saw how we could just add notes and different follow-up things there. Does that kind of meet that need, or were you looking for something more there?
I'm not sure. The person that had a meeting and couldn't be on this call, so I'm not exactly sure what all she would need. But I think we could probably expand the notes form and just create a new one to track additional fields if she needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And I think you've already answered the next question.
The reminders, yes, that can be done.
That was the assignments.
Yes. Can you tag a person as a contact for a particular event or function and pull the report of those people?
I probably have to get
yeah,
more
so
information.
let's see.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to talk that out for a second. So if the event is coming up, let's say the annual conference is coming up, and I want to pull everyone who is the meeting contact. Is this for people who would deal with certain functions? Okay, is this so? This is kind of like a volunteer type.
I think maybe she was thinking from a sales perspective, like sponsorship, who deals with sponsorships or advertising. So maybe just different types of sales contacts is kind of what I'm thinking. That she's like, if they have exhibit booths, which could either be roles or individual types, I think. I might have to get a little bit more information from her if that's not what she's looking for.
Okay. Yeah. Well, once again, you can use those roles, you can use individual types, but and then I think this goes into again the advantage of having all of this in one system is that you also have the query tool that can find, for instance, let's say it's booth sales, maybe in the upcoming event, and she wants to see, okay, who bought a booth last year that hasn't yet bought a booth this year? Those types of queries. With the query tool, and again, this takes some knowing in the different areas of the system of how to get that out. So there is some training involved there. But anyone who has access to this module could go to the exhibitor query and then say, all right, who am I going to call here on my leads? Who are my leads for booth sales? Here I have one for exhibited in one show, but not another one. And in this case, it lets me choose which shows, so I can kind of keep one query out there. I don't have to rebuild it each year, but and I'll just see if I can pick one that actually gives me some values here. Hang on 1 second. Try that. Yeah, there's only one back. Okay, well, this would normally be a list of multiple contacts, but then this is where I could start from, right? So this shows me my exhibitor, and then the nice thing from here, no matter what my identifier was, here I can say, well, for Caterpillar, which was one of my exhibitors. Primary contact was William Foote, and so here I've got that contact information right there. So that's kind of another way to get a lead, just to look back at the history of the records, who's purchased this, who gave me gifts last year, who registered, who bought a booth last year, and then to look to see who was connected to that exhibit booth.
Right, because you do have different contacts per like sponsorship. You can add a contact when you create that sponsorship profile. Advertising, you can add contacts. So okay.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, and so I know customers kind of categorize the people differently, and sometimes the primary contact that you have on file may also be the exhibitor contact. It may also be some other contacts. So depending on how you have to be really vigilant to categorize everyone in a way that makes it really easy to pull back one list. So the other kind of way is as you're building those categories, as you're figuring out the best way to do it, one kind of quick and very effective way to do it is just to look back on the purchases and to say, oh, this was William, and we could look up his record and see what he's categorized as. It's probably just staff, right? It's probably just a generic connection. But in this case, he's the lead, he's the contact.
Okay.
All
And
right.
then her last question, I think you've already answered it. Because she was talking about a way to create a sales pipeline. When you add company as a lead, include how likely their participation is, and then pull a pipeline report, which I believe you've already showed us all that. So.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. So that's just creating those opportunities, putting them in those stages, and then the baseline reports will will feed into that pipeline.
So as far as, I saw on the opportunity a way to create the invoice, so you can create, instead of having to go to the CRM module, you can actually create the invoice from the opportunity itself.
That's right, yeah, so that's the advantage, again, over kind of like Salesforce, where we have both the transaction side, which of course is the purchasing and doing all that, and then also the sales side. So if I go back to my opportunity, the invoice button here, that would link into the what we call the centralized shopping cart. So basically, you're viewing it from my website, from the staff view, where you can process the sale. Okay, so here, because, and it's smart enough to know that because I connected it to a fundraising gift product type, it knows, it gives me this gift entry screen. Now, if we connect it to a sponsorship or to some other product type, then it would connect me to that. But now I could go ahead and go through this and process, in this case, a gift that would, just give you mouse, let's say we've got the whole 10,000. And I think that's all I have to do there. Let's say save and finish. Okay, so then it just adds that line item in, and now I process it. Maybe it's a check that came in, and so I just process it in the normal way. Now this is where I don't have set up the commission rates and things like that, but this is where, based on that $10,000, depending on what my commission rate was for this type of sale, then that would show up on my commission reports.
What if, before you save it, what does the close opportunity checkbox do that's up there above the name on check?
Yeah, good question. So that just takes the opportunity itself, because I hadn't really taken that thing to its full end, and so that allows you within that one step to say, hey, this is closed, and it kind of just categorizes it differently so that you know the difference between an open and closed opportunity.
Would it have moved it to the final stage and did 100%?
I think that's a good question. I think that I had to test it. I don't think it's smart enough to know which stage is the last stage.
Okay.
We could test this out, but I believe that there's a status of the opportunity. There's either open or closed opportunities, and then it would just kind of that's a good question, because really, if you're closing it, it should also have. I mean, there's two ways to close it, right? There's closed won and closed lost. So in this case, we've won the business. There should also be a thing for lost here, right? So that could be the stages you set up. Here my stages probably aren't they? If I do that. Yeah, that's something different. Does it make? Would you like me to test it on another one, or is it?
I mean, I can play with it. I was just curious what it would do. Hey, can you scroll down? What else? What other child forms are on this page? Just curious.
Just a few. We've got the notes. So you're tracking both the notes that you make here and also the ones from the main record. Customer requests. So that would be if the customer calls in and has some sort of question. We're tracking those with the customer request. So the sales rep would be able to see anything there that's connected to that opportunity and make sure that so that is connected to the opportunity. So you can have a request that's connected there. So they say, hey, give me a proposal or something like that. Competitors. So you're tracking. This is just a table that's linking to a record in the database. So again, if you want to track the others who might be, vying for their business, then you can connect that here just in terms of following that lead. Related invoices, so was there something that then they purchased that was a part of this? So here we could, the history, we could go back to last year's giving and see that, hey, you know what, the opportunity that we approached last year, it turns out they gave this much, and here's the invoice that's associated with that. So you get a full picture of what they've done. Finally, different documents that might apply, contracts and proposals and information you can upload here.
All right. Questions? You have some questions?
All right, anything else?
So on the drop down or the menu buttons on the side there, like what is under leads? Is that just a way to find leads, list leads? Okay.
Yeah, really here it's kind of linking in again to the other parts of the system. So here we have a prospect list. Let's see. So this, I don't know, I think the way we talked about leads previously is probably the primary way you'll do it, because most people have the records within the system already. Maybe they've done business with them previously. But this specifically is about, did you guys ever use the prospect list feature to import mailing lists and data?
Yeah, it's been a while, but we have used it before.
Okay. So the idea here is that you purchase a list, let's say, of leads. You can import it into a prospect list, and this allows you to search that list.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a different thing than just running a query, because here they really don't have a full CRM record. From the prospect list, you can mark it to them initially, but if they take action or if you start if you identify them as an actual lead, then you can transfer them into the system as a CRM record, in which case you can do a lot more with them.
Right.
But it kind of starts the process.
Okay. Well, I think you've probably answered all of our questions. So,
Okay.
I appreciate.
All right. Very good. Well, glad I could help.
Yeah, I appreciate the time today.
Okay, you all have a great day, and I'm going to touch base with Angie too about that about any enhancements. But feel free to send that email to her as well about any new features within that.
Okay, I will do that.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
All right. Thank
Good
you,
day.
Matt.